Hello, geometry students. This here is going to be a little lesson on pizzas. We've been exploring circles in a bunch of different ways, and so today is all about the amount of pizza, the crust of the pizza. We're going to even talk about slices. So here we go. If you want to take notes with this, you can. This is pizza math. Okay, first let's start with just a standard, let's go 14 inch, that's a large. So when they announce that a pizza is 14 inches, what is the word for that? That is the diameter. So the diameter is 14 inches. And if I said how much crust, what is the total crust of the pizza? This is a quick little review. What's the geometry word for crust? That would be circumference. And what is the formula for circumference? Pi times diameter. You could also use 2 pi times radius, but I prefer this. It's a little simpler. So in this case, that would be pi times 14. And if you type that in, pi times 14, you get approximately 44.0 inches of crust. Okay, so that should feel pretty normal. We did circumference before we left for break. This is just a quick one. So the amount of crust in this pizza, the total length of the crust, all the way around here, is 44 inches. Okay, 44 inches of crust. However, if I said, how much pizza are you actually eating? Okay, if I said, what's the total pizza? What do you think we would mean by total pizza? Well, what measurement of this, if you're eating pizza, you're not just eating the crust, most people, you're eating the full pizza. Well, what geometry word means the total amount of pizza? Area. So what is the area of the pizza? Well, you discovered this probably a long time ago, but with that was Khan Academy videos, pi times the radius squared. That's what you've been doing on the previous assignment. So in this case, pi times, well, if diameter is 14, what's the radius going to be? 7, right? Diameter is all the way across, radius is just halfway across, okay? And so pi times 7 squared. Order of operations is important. Which you do first, multiply or square? You definitely square first. So if you have a fancy calculator, you can type it all in. You can do pi times 7 squared. Or if you don't, and you need to do 7 times 7, and then that times pi, that's fine too. Either way, you get approximately 153.9. And then what would be the units? Well, crust was just length, so that was inches. Area is going to be square inches. You write inches squared, but you generally say square inches. Okay, so we're saying that that is the amount of pizza. That's how much pizza is actually in a large Domino's or a large Papa John's pizza. Okay, about 153.9 square inches of pizza. Okay, so that's a little bit of review. Now I want to talk about a slice. What if you get a Domino's large pizza, if they slice it, usually they're going to slice it in half, half again, and like so. Okay, and so each of these slices, well, it was 360, then it was 180, then each was 90, and then half of 90 is 45 degrees. What I want to know is how much crust there is just in that one. Okay, so for this amount of crust, so the slice crust is still going to be a portion of that full circumference. Okay, so it's still going to be pi times diameter, in this case pi times 14, but there's a couple ways to do this. I'll bet a lot of you are thinking, well, it's divided into 8 slices, so couldn't we just divide that by 8? And the answer is yes, you certainly can. So if you do pi times 14 divided by 8, that's going to get you that one slice of crust is about 5.5 inches. So that goes with that. There's about 5.5 inches of crust when you hold a regular slice of a Domino's large pizza. Okay, does that seem reasonable? 5.5 inches of crust when you're holding a slice of pizza in your hand? Seems reasonable to me. Okay, there is another option though. Some of you might think, I don't want to divide. You could also do what I call the percent method. Okay, so, or a different option would be to take, so the slice crust is pi times 14, but do it as a percentage, as a fraction. So this is 45 out of, how many total degrees are there in a circle? A total of 360. And that method, because this is basically the percent of the pizza. 45 divided by 360 is our percent of the pizza in decimal form. So if you type pi times 14 times 45 over 360, you get the exact same decimal of approximately 5.5 inches of crust. So for this problem, I would bet a lot of you probably like the slice method. Okay, let me label that. This is the divide method. Okay, whereas this one down here is the percent method. Okay, so for this problem, they both work. For all problems, they're both going to work. You probably like this one better than this one for this one, but I'm going to show you one later that you probably will like this method better. Okay, and then for the area, it's the exact same process. Okay, so the area of the slice is still going to be pi times 7 squared, but once again, divided by 8, or pi times 7 squared times 45 over 360. And in both those cases, pi times 7 squared divided by 8, or pi times 7 squared times 45 over 360. Either way, we get approximately 19.2. 19.2 what? Well, this is area. What do we measure area in? Not inches, but square inches. Okay, and that's the amount of pizza in this slice. Okay, that's the amount of pizza in that slice. So when you eat a single slice of Domino's or Papa John's large pizza, if it was cut correctly, you probably got about 19.2 square inches of pizza in your belly. Okay, whereas you got about 5.5 inches of crust. Okay, so that's for this problem. All right, the only thing I want to do now is say in a perfect world, all slices would be nice, perfect sections of a pizza. In reality, that's often not the case. What if you go to Racanelli's, okay, and they're large, I think they have a 16-inch, but then when you get the slice, they actually sell it by the slice. Often their slices are all over the place. So let's say they sell a slice that's like 57-degree slice. It's a big slice of pizza. Okay, so first of all, can we draw a picture? DAFP, draw a friggin' picture. Can we draw a picture of this? So if you want to draw it as a full pizza, you can. There's our 16 inches. And then if you want to draw a 57-degree slice, and then there's the pizza that we're talking about. Okay, that's the slice. Some of you might say, I'd rather not draw the full pizza. I'd rather just draw the slice. So if you start with the 57-degree slice and then draw your pizza that way, that's fine too. The only thing is, if you do that, you got to make sure, in either way, you got to make sure you know, well, how long is that length? How long is that slice of the pizza? Well, if the pizza was 16 inches all the way across, how far is that going to be? That's just going to be 8 inches across, the radius. Is that logical? Okay, halfway across. You like how I ask questions even though you can't actually answer me? Because I hate the idea of just talking at you. So I'm pretending you're there answering my questions. So if that's our slice and I want to know how much crust there is, so the crust is going to equal the circumference, if it was the full thing, so pi times diameter, in this case 16. But here's where the divided method is not so great. 57 doesn't go nicely into 360. That was just some random slice that they cut. Okay, if you've ever tried to slice a pizza or slice a pie or slice a cookie cake, it's unlikely you sliced it perfectly. So this is where the percent method is probably going to be your best bet. You can do times 57 over, what's the total degrees in a circle? 360. And when you type that in, pi times 16 times 57 over 360, you get approximately 7.96 inches of crust, or about 8 inches of crust. Okay, so that's the length of the crust. Not surprising that it's longer than the one before. Okay, remember the previous pizza was smaller diameter and smaller angle. This is a larger diameter and a larger angle, so it's 8 inches of crust, not surprising. What about the amount of pizza? Okay, the area of that slice, still going to be pi times radius squared. What did we say the radius was? 8. So pi times 8 squared. And once again, times 57 over 360. And when you type that in, pi times 8 squared times 57 over 360, you get approximately 31.8 square inches of pizza. Okay, once again, it's not surprising that that's a lot more. The 19.2 from the previous pizza, it was a smaller pizza and a smaller angle. This is a larger pizza and a larger angle, so we're getting more pizza and more crust. Not surprising. So this is how you can find the length of crust in a slice of pizza and the amount of pizza in a slice of pizza. The geometry words that you're going to see are, so crust is called arc length. So when Carol or anyone in a geometry setting outside of pizza talks about this, they're going to call that arc length. And then the area of this is called the area of a sector. S-E-C-T-O-R. Sector is the fancy geometry word for a slice. Okay? So I prefer the word slice, but I completely support math people saying arc length and area of a sector. Just make sure you understand arc length is the same as crust length, and area of a sector is just the same as the amount of pizza in the slice. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you can now attempt the assignment that I'm assigning for you. Please reach out in all the different ways that we talk about through Google Classroom, through email, through texting, whatever you would like, and we can support you on this next assignment. Thanks for listening, and for those who are really missing my beautiful bald head, there it is, still shiny. All right, bye guys.